Okay, it is 7:03, so we'll call the monthly meeting of the West Lakeland Town Board to order. And first order of business on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to start the evening off here with a couple of public hearings. First one is there is a request to allow a variance for the construction of an 8-foot fence along Manning Avenue, and that's Nick and Julene Cardenas. Are they here? Okay. Would you folks like to step up to that to the podium there and present your request? Then we'll hear from the Planning Commission.
Okay. Yeah. Nick Cardenas, my wife Julene. We are looking at would like to install a fence along our property line, inside our property line. It would be a wooden fence, posts, and it would be, you know, pretty much the length of our property and our frontage, due for noise reduction and privacy. So
it's only along the front border. It's well within the county right-of-way on Manning Avenue. It's within our tree line and just along the front. And the town ordinance is 4 feet high, and we're asking for an 8-foot height. Do you want us to keep going and show what we showed last month?
Sure, and maybe you can make it clear too, how many feet back from the county right-of-way is the fence
do
going
we
to
have
be?
that on our paper?
I do. I'm gonna.
And if you've got an illustration to show it, that'd be.
Can you pull up the illustration? You'll have to scroll down.
So, the same one. I think one more, or maybe it was one before that.
There it
So
is. That's it.
there were two different views that we had, and that one, yeah, that's the one. So
white-
the red line shows
Go
where
ahead.
we want the fence, sorry.
Yeah.
The county right-of-way people said that we needed, they wanted to look at this overview, and they counted that we were counting from the fog line of the road, which is the white line on the shoulder. And we are 82 feet from there. They said we needed to be 67 feet, or 57.
57.
Yeah. They said our property line is at the 57-foot mark, so they didn't want us to put anything in front of that close to the road. Does that make sense? And we are actually going in 82 feet total, not the 57, but an additional 15 feet in. So it's well within our property, and it gives the county a little wiggle room with 15 feet in, for future Manning Avenue.
It'll be inside
projects.
inside the tree line that we have today. We're right on the curve, as you can see, on Manning Avenue.
And we've got, on the north side, we were staying within 20 feet from our north neighbor. And on the south, we're 30 feet in from that neighbor, just based on the slope of the land. And because we're on that curve, the road kind of goes up and it's higher than our lot level. So 8 feet high might give us a few feet of privacy from the road at the greatest differential of that height. So 4 feet would do nothing, basically. So, does that answer that question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. We're planning to put in footings, and the footings will have metal brackets on them.
Right. Be concrete footings, there'd be a metal bracket with 4x6 post on that, 8 feet tall from the concrete pad. And then there'd be 2x6 horizontal wooden treated boards in between each post.
That's what you can see on the right side. We've got the post, shows kind of like a dash line. That's a channel we'll put to hold all of the horizontal boards in between. If that helps. So it'll look the same from the
Both
our
sides.
side and the road side.
Okay. And I gather that because it's behind you tell me, it's behind the tree line. Does that mean there's some screening of this fence by the existing vegetation there?
Yes, by the existing.
Okay.
The trees are all maturing, so some of the lower branches are dying off. Yeah, so there's an opening there. So I don't know what will happen over time. I can't guarantee that.
Yeah.
But right now, we've got it definitely within the trees.
Okay.
Yeah. We already cleared the path in between so that we could see where it would be a good line for the fence. So we're not planning to take out any more trees than what's already there. So we got approval from the county. The Manning Avenue project said that, you know, at this time, they have no definitive plan to do anything with, you know, within our property line. They don't anticipate that at this point. And they don't require any additional permits.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Anybody on the board have a question? No? And I wonder if we could hear from the planning commission on this too, and then open it up for public comment.
Okay with you?
It's fine. Yeah. Yeah. The planning commission reviewed this on March 27th, and we can certainly sympathize with this traffic and noise situation for anybody living on Manning Avenue in our township. And they certainly have a compelling reason for this variance to offset the nuisance and noise that just seems to be getting worse on Manning. So the planning commission is in favor of this plan, supporting it.
Okay.
Without any doubt, really. So it's all good.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks.
Any members of the public like to make any comment now? Since this is a public hearing, people are free to voice their opinion on the proposed variance. Any public comment? If not, we will close this public hearing and move. Well, I suppose maybe this is a good time for the board to consider whether we want to approve this and direct that a resolution be drafted. Is it?
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
You actually have a resolution in your packet
Oh,
on this one?
okay. And so the only question is that would we approve that? So, I will move that we approve the resolution approving the variance. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Anybody have any discussion? Yeah, I mean, I think there's, to me, it seems like one of the most compelling practical difficulties is apparently the difference in elevation, so that the road is at such an elevation that a 4-foot fence would be ineffectual because it's so high up. So, in any event, hearing no further comment, we'll take a vote on this. All those in favor of approving the variance that's been requested, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no? Okay, very good. So we'll get this resolution signed for you, and you can proceed. You bet. Yep. Okay, next public hearing before us is for a conditional use permit application to continue to utilize this property and the building located here as a town hall, which is classified as an essential services government uses building and storage under section 4.3.2 of our town code. And this is a continuation of the public hearing that we initiated at our last monthly meeting. And I think we probably covered quite a bit of the ground there, but it'd be another opportunity for the public to have input on this conditional use permit that the township would like to grant itself. Does anybody have any comment or thoughts on this? Yes, please, yeah.
I just have a comment. There's been some discussion in the shadows, I guess, regarding use of town hall and conditional use permit. We should make sure that we've got a conditional use permit that allows us to utilize this building for more than just meetings. So we can utilize it for, community type services and for our summer party and, events that go on from time to time at this facility, and we can, fully utilize it, without any constraints that might prevent us from doing the things that we'd like to do in the town hall. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Any other public input or public comment? If not, I'll close the public hearing and we'll consider the resolution. Maybe I should just ask council, since the question's been raised, does the conditional use permit resolution that we have before us limit the township from, using the town hall for the kinds of purposes that Mr. Vodova was talking about?
Mr. Chair and board, good question. So the way I worded the scope of the CUP that would be granted if you act to approve this is, the scope of this use includes the existing sign and all uses to which a town hall may normally be put, including but not limited to, as the town's office, to conduct meetings, elections, and other public gatherings and events, and to allow the public to use the property in accordance with such terms and conditions as the town board may establish to protect the property and to minimize negative impacts to the property and the neighboring owners. So I purposely worded it fairly broadly to try to encompass all the uses for which a town hall may be put.
All right, thank you. I did see something in this that maybe we should fix. Where was it? There are a couple places where it refers to a sign, singular, and we actually
you
have
have
two
two?
signs.
Okay. All right.
So I'm wondering,
Well, we did have two. We might have two signs again.
yeah, we're gonna have two signs again. So I just wonder, what should we, is that thing we need to amend it right now, on this in handwriting or something, or do we just retype it or something to provide for two signs, or what's the
Yeah,
best way
so,
to do it?
so Mr. Chair, if the board is inclined to act on this, it can just be, the motion could be with the clarification that it be changed to reflect signs.
Sure.
Instead of sign. I apologize. I was thinking of the one that got hit.
Yeah,
Right, I
Everybody's
assume we're
thinking
talking
about
about the
that.
other one that's in front of the building here.
the one that got hit saved anybody sitting along that edge of the building,
Yes,
in my view,
okay.
from a vehicle entering the building. Anyway, okay. Well, I would move that we adopt this resolution approving this conditional use permit for the town hall with the additional proviso that we amend the language to account for the fact that there are actually two signs on the property, not just one. So that's my motion.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yeah.
John?
I take it the sign is going back up again. Whose property will it be placed on?
County property, county right away anyway. And that's the other thing. It's really, maybe it's our property, I guess, and the county has a right of way easement. I'm not sure exactly what the legal, way to describe that is, but it's within the county's right of way, the sign is. And of course, we have a permit from the county allowing us to have it there.
Do you have to get a new permit since you're
I
moved over?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think we have to get a new permit. I mean, I've been in touch with the county and I think they're fine with the existing permit. But if it is a new permit, they have no objection to it anyway. They're fine with us doing it. And then just to be clear about this for everybody who doesn't know, yeah, it's on county right of way, but the county right of way is very generous at that intersection there. And it comes to, it takes most of our lawn here, it comes right up to the building, which really isn't necessary for traffic or anything like that. It's far off the travel portion of the highway. And the fact that it was hit by somebody is really kind of an unusual anomaly, I think. The person had to be just not wanting to be on the roadway at all, or even near the roadway. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of granting the conditional use permit, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? Okay. Very good. So with that correction, we'll approve that. So now, next item on the agenda would be the approval of minutes of a couple of meetings that we've had in recent past. First set of minutes would be the regular board meeting that we held on April 14, 2025. I just had a couple of comments on the minutes that maybe some changes I'd like to make. One of them is, okay, under public hearing, accessory structure closer to the right of way, the second to the last paragraph, and the very last sentence of that paragraph says the only clearing he has done is to remove invasive buckthorn. And I'd like to add the words, just for clarity, on his property, because I think he's here today, in fact. It's on his property, right?
Yes.
Not on anybody else's property, not on the county right or township right or anything? Okay, so I think it would be nice for clarity just to add the words on his property. Thank you. The other question I have is, under continuation of the public hearing on the use of the building at 959 Paris Avenue, it says, here, having begun receiving comments at the May 12, 2025 meeting, that's today. So how can the minutes refer to? Oh, it was a March meeting we're talking about. I thought it was continued from April. I think it was continued from the April. I mean, yeah, these are the April minutes, right? So on April 14th, we initiated a public hearing on this conditional use permit. And we continued that public hearing to today. So it really took place on two different occasions. It's kind of an extended public hearing. And, you know, so part one of the public hearing did take place on April 14, and that probably should be reflected in the minutes. And then, we should say also in the minutes that this public hearing was continued to the May 12, 2025 meeting, where it will be concluded, I guess. Somehow to re-wordsmith that to make that more clear. That's all I'm saying. Other than that, I have no changes to the proposed minutes. Anybody else have any? No. Okay. All right. So I will move that with those changes to the draft minutes, that we approve the minutes of the April 14, 2025 meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Any further discussion? Nope. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Okay, so those minutes are approved. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. The next one is a special meeting, the pre-construction meeting for our big road project. That one took place on April 24, 2025. And we have those minutes in front of us, and I don't have any changes to those minutes. Does anybody else got anything?
I wasn't there.
It's a good point. It's a technical point, but it's a good point. Yeah. John? Okay. Then I'll move that we adopt these as the minutes of that meeting. Any second? Moved and seconded. You want to second it, John? Second. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Okay, so those minutes are adopted. Now this next one is the meeting that we had between the town clerk and deputy clerk and myself and the Minnesota Department of Health and the MPCA and somebody was there from the EPA as well, concerning the TCE contaminant plume that's in the northern part of our township. We have those minutes in front of us, and I suppose it's probably difficult for any of you to say that there are errors with it because you weren't there, but I was there and I don't find any errors in it. So I would move adoption of these minutes of that meeting at this point. Any second?
I second and vote if I wasn't there.
Mr. Chair, was there a quorum of the board there?
No.
Yeah, so technically, it's not a meeting with minutes to be approved.
Okay.
You can enter that as a record of what occurred, just for the sake of having that record. But actually, I wouldn't see approval of that because technically it wasn't a meeting.
All right. All right, so we'll do that. So I'll just ask the clerk to keep this around in case, yeah, make a record of it in case anything comes up. Okay, no need to officially approve those. All right. The next item would be the treasurer's report and payment of the bills. And I'll turn that over to Marcia.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the month of April, the town recorded $37,892 worth of receipts. And $26,218 came from building permits. $62.49 came from litigation garnishments. $1,100 from an escrow and an application fee, and $540 for 3 gravel pit inspections. The township paid out $196,537.21 during the month of April. $10,332 was payroll, including the election judges. $41,399 for Bolton and Mink for the pavement management program and the 2025 street improvement project. $54.80 for City View Electric. $10,756 for the remainder of the snow from Miller. $38,852 for the remainder of the remodel. $33,048 for M&S for Emerald Ash Borer removal. $22,285 for Stenson building inspections, and $7,129 for recycling expenses, bringing the total cash and investments to $2,881,590.07. The next CD that's up is in July, so we don't have anything to sign on this month. You guys have any questions?
So have we established a 4M account into which we'll put the,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and in fact, at the end of today, I didn't check it before I left here, but we should have a good faith deposit of 130,000, I think 852.
all right. All right, so I'll move that we accept the treasurer's report and approve payment of bills. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moving seconded. Any discussion?
Last month I noted my discomfort of signing a
Right.
paper without having all.
Is your mic on, by the way? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Let me address that too for you, John, because I looked into it a little bit. And
Good.
the thing of it is, okay, so this is a complete list of all the bills that are being paid
Yeah.
this month. Sometimes if a bill comes in late, an invoice comes in late, it doesn't make it into our packet. It's listed here, but it doesn't make it into our packet because it came in late. We don't want to delay payment by a month, so we paid it.
Right.
So. Oh, my mic's on? Okay, sorry. Yeah. Here I made sure John's was on and didn't turn mine on. Okay, so, yeah, so sometimes a bill doesn't, a physical copy of it doesn't make it into our packet, but it's on here. So every bill that's paid is on this list, and that's the only way it gets paid. That's the only way the check gets generated. Some of the bills and invoices and things like timesheets, that are submitted by staff and so forth, we don't have a copy of that in here. And maybe some minor expense items or some late expense items that came in late, that sort of thing. So the physical copies that you see in your packet don't always match up perfectly with this. However, if you have a question about any item that's listed on this list of bills that we're paying, and you're welcome to peruse this and take a close look at it, you can ask Marcia to dig out the invoice that it relates to. So that's the answer to that question.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, so let's see. The motion is we're going to accept the treasurer's report and pay the bills. I think we got a second.
Yes.
We need a roll call, I think.
Chairman Musburger,
Aye.
Supervisor Dana,
Aye.
Supervisor Bulow.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, so let's see. Next item is Attorney Kevin Magnuson, if he's here, our county attorney. That is the next item, right? Yeah. Is he here? Well, if he's not here, we'll move on. Kevin Magnuson, Washington County Attorney, was going to address our board. Maybe maybe he's still on his way or something, to talk about county crimes and trends update. It'll be interesting to hear from him if he does have time to make it here tonight. Okay, so the next item on the agenda. Now, whoever was asked number 10. Look how fast we're moving through this. You know, I mean, you're gonna be there in a second. You know. Okay, Keith and Emily Hart review lot line adjustment plans for property at 2360 Neal Avenue North. So yeah, please step to the podium. And while they're on their way up there, I'm just curious, Betsy, is there any reason these two side monitors are not operating? Okay. 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 It'll just help me and the rest of the people on the board here see if you're going to put a map up or something. And I assume you are putting up a survey or something.
Survey's coming up, but it's.
Yep. Okay. Uh-oh. The lights are on, but nobody's home. You know, I mean, if we can't get it going, that's okay. We'll just turn around to see it. Oh, now it's up.
Chairman Musburger, you also have a large format print of what's on the screen next to you.
Oh, this. Oh, okay. All right, thank you. Okay.
All right, so I'm Keith Hart, my wife and I, Emily and I, we own parcel A, which is currently a field that is being farmed. And Emily's uncle is John Higby, who owns the parcel B, and we are the trustees of that trust. And what we want to do, we are in the process right now of selling parcel B, but before we do that, we wanted to ensure that parcel A has adequate access for the farm. And then for future consideration, we also wanted that access to be 66 feet wide, so that way a developer could put a road through there. So
you're talking about an access on the
south end of parcel B.
Yeah.
We initially thought we would do an easement, but we didn't really like that as an option just because we don't know who we're going to be selling parcel B to, and we just wanted to make sure that that was accessible for parcel A.
Okay.
Say, Phil, do we require 60 feet or 66?
66.
For a roadway, I don't really know.
I thought it was 60.
Mr. Chair, it's 66 for a public roadway.
Oh, okay.
Right. So the area to the south there says area to be transferred from parcel B to parcel A. So did parcel B own this whole?
Yes, parcel B was a total of 4.1 acres.
Okay.
So it did accommodate, if we had an easement, there would still be at least the 2.5 acres for parcel B to be a separate lot. If we take that 66-foot width away from it, parcel B still ends up being 3.5 acres.
Okay.
This is pointing to this section right here.
Mr. Chair, it took me some head scratching to figure this out.
Yeah.
But, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I see it, the southern border of B is being moved up 66 feet.
Correct.
And then A is being extended out to the road. So
Correct.
it's a bit of a coming across with A. So A will be on the south side of B now.
Yeah, on this drawing, it was denoted as parcel C, but parcel C didn't really fit, the text didn't fit there, so there's just an arrow pointing to that. But yeah, that, it's not really a new parcel, it's just an area being taken away from B and then added to A.
I see. Okay. Okay, yeah, I get it.
And Mr. Chair and Board, just to add, the applicant provided all the legal descriptions, because this is exactly what we need. We need the before description of, in this case, C, the transfer parcel, and then the resulting A and B descriptions. So we have all those.
All right,
And also, just for clarification, this document here that we're seeing on the screen was an older document. What you have in front of you is an updation that includes where the drain field and septic system, as well as the driveway for parcel B. So we did have those added after we met with the planning commission.
okay. All right. Does anybody else have any questions for the applicant?
No.
John, any? Okay, and so then the next question I would have is I don't really have any problem with this either. And I assume the planning commission has considered it, so I suppose we should certainly hear from the planning commission. But then what'll be our next step after that? Do we need a public hearing or anything, or?
Mr. Chair, no, there's no specific public hearing on this. It really is something that comes through the town attorney, and I'm supposed to make a recommendation to you. And in the resolution that you have before you, I'm recommending that I don't see any reason not to approve this. It doesn't reduce parcel B to below the minimum, so you're not creating any nonconformities. I didn't see any setback issues being generated. Really, it's a matter of hearing from the planning commission and then considering the resolution that's before you.
Okay, all right, thanks. All right, so let's, if you would like to step up.
Yeah, the planning commission reviewed this at the April meeting, and maybe a couple things weren't mentioned here. One was the driveway on parcel B is now much closer to the south lot line than what it was, but that's okay. It's still beyond the requirement, the 10 feet. So no problem there. And it's an overall, it's a really good solution to provide future access to parcel A for any reason, for farming or future minor subdivision, for anything to be done with that parcel. This is a much better access pathway to that parcel than what we see on the north side of that lot, where the topography is very steep, very challenging along the swamp or the wetland there. So everything we talked to with the applicant here is it's all good. We're all in favor of it. We took a motion. Everybody was in favor of this plan. So
One question I would have, Mark, since you did point out the location of the driveway is pretty close, proximate to the south lot, the proposed south lot line. And moreover, the 66-foot strip is designed to be, ingress. Does that pose any problems to that driveway being in such close proximity to either A, a future road, or B, just a future driveway? Is the proximity of those any kind of a cause for concern?
not within our ordinances. It's allowed.
I did measure off the distance, the surveyor put a stake on the proposed lot line, and the existing driveway is 18 to 20 feet away from the proposed lot.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah, so all good. All in
Thank-
favor of this.
Thank you, Mark.
It's a very nice plan. Too. Very nice.
Thank you. All right. Well, I would then move that we approve the resolution to approve this lot line rearrangement. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the board? Any questions you'd like to ask?
Is Dwight still around?
It's a great question. He's actually in assisted living right now. So he's actually been there for 4 years. We'd hoped that he would be able to be well enough to move back home, but he's too much of a fall risk right now. So living back at home is just
How
not
old is-
feasible for him.
How old is he now?
He just turned 83 last month.
All right. Okay, hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the lot line rearrangement, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? Okay, so we'll go ahead and sign that resolution. Thank you very much
Thank you.
for appearing. Okay, let's see. What's our next item? He's already way ahead of me. Yeah, sure. Okay, next item would be George Eilertson from Northland Securities, and we've got quite a bit of business to conduct here, so why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'll try to be brief here with you and certainly address any questions. The first item on your agenda relates to the assignment of a bond rating, and I'll direct you to, I guess, hard copies if you have them. I prepared an overview that may be in your packets. As part of the bond rating process, I worked closely with your staff as well as your auditing firm from Abdo. They along with your staff, we prepped looking at the questions for the bond rating call, and then eventually that led to a call that took place with Carrie and with Marcia, and they did a great job. I think they were very well prepared, provided the information that was requested, and the outcome of the bond rating process was the assignment of a AA+. And so part of this presentation, or this part of the presentation I wanted to focus on was, what does that mean? So on this page, I put the categories of bond ratings with basically non-rated would be if the township had moved ahead without a rating, and then you move up in categories to A, AA, and then the highest rating is a AAA rating. And so the township was assigned a rating just one notch away from AAA. So kudos to you. And it certainly helped when we brought bonds to market this morning. Here's the highlights that Standard & Poor's provided. Basically in three highlights. The economy was one. I've told you before, location. So the first one is the economy. They talk about the township's location in Washington County and its market value and income metrics well above national averages. So that's certainly a strong point. The second, financial performance. The township maintains general fund reserves in excess of 50% of its general fund operating budget. And then third, debt. And this is a pretty short conversation because prior to this issuance, you didn't have any debt. And then they further commented that factoring in this new bond, that they don't see this as pressuring the township's financial performance. Just a little bit of, I talk about the AA+ bond rating. The rating fee, you have to pay a fee to get the rating. In this case, the fee is $19,850. Over the 15-year term of the bonds, we estimate that you will lower the interest rate approximately 0.5%. So over that 15-year term, you'll save approximately $225,000 of interest cost by having the bond rating assigned. So money well spent there. And then finally, I just wanted to highlight your current rating, like I said, AA+. So here's some of your neighboring communities and what their ratings are. Afton, AA+, so the same as West Lakeland. Oak Park Heights and Bayport, both, as well as Stillwater, all three of those at AA2, which is one notch lower. Lake Elmo, AA1, which is the same, and then Woodbury at AAA. So those are the nearby bond ratings. Any questions, board, on the bond rating? Okay, perfect. And that's just a presentation, board. I don't believe you have any action related to that. Second is the results of the sale. We took your bonds to market this morning. There's a, if you have it in your packet, it's bond sale summary at the top. 10:30 this morning, we took financing bids, and on the front page of this bond sale summary, you'll see that it says $5,070,000. when we brought your bonds to market, they were sized at 5,340,000. So you might sit back and say, George, what'd you do with that $270,000? And we'll get into that. It's actually of benefit to the township. So we received 4 financing bids this morning. We based the award off of what's called the true interest cost. So we received bids from Robert W. Baird, Raymond James and Associates, Stifel Nicholas, and TD Securities. And if you see on that page board that this is truly a national type of audience that we got from the investment banking community. So Robert W. Baird out of Milwaukee was the low bid with a 3.757 true interest cost. The cover bid, or the second place bid, Raymond James, was 3.759. So very close, right on the right behind the first place bid. So certainly all 4 bids were close, with the third and fourth place bids very close behind. So those are the 4 bids. Eventually in the presentation, we'll get to the resolution. Awarding the resolution awards the sale to the low bidder. If you have the presentation board, on page 6, there is what's called the pricing summary. Earlier, I talked about the bond being awarded at $5,070,000, and we brought it to market at $5,340,000. And if you see on Exhibit D pricing summary, there's 2 columns with interest rates. One is the coupon column with 5% and then 4% towards the long end, and then the yield column. The distinction between those 2 columns is the yield is what the market is for a AA2 rated bond. The coupon is what the investor will earn on the investment. And so, but the investment bank as well as the investors have to pay the difference. So that's what's called reoffering premium. In this case, the reoffering premium plus the underwriter or the low bidder working for a little bit less than we anticipated, that works out to $270,000. What we do with that $270,000 is apply that to as a source of funds, rather, and then you still net the same dollar amount that you came to market with this morning. So you'll still be netting $5.2 million, even though you're issuing $5,070,000. So because you've got the bond proceeds of $5,070,000 and the reoffering premium of $259,000. Any questions, board, on how that works? Okay, good. So the the reoffering premium, 259, 269 and 60 cents. So I was looking back a little bit at how does this compare to where we've talked about as over the months leading up to this bond sale, and being conservative, I was actually factoring in the township at a bond rating of a AA minus, which is 2 notches below where you ended up. So the interest rates came in between 10 and 20, 1/10 and 0.2% lower than what we've seen in previous months, in part because you got a more favorable bond rate. Well, thank you for your review of that. Actually, Chair and members of the board, this is the point where there's a resolution on your agenda. Approval of that resolution would lock in the rates and terms that are in this sale report, the issuance of $5,070,000, and the interest rates stated in that report as well.
What's that interest rate again?
True interest cost of 3.757%.
All right, so you're asking us to approve a resolution that you have prepared, and presumably the council has reviewed, authorizing the issuance of these general obligation certificates of indebtedness and then we're gonna receive the proceeds within, what, 30 days?
Excellent question. Yes, tonight you are considering the approval of the sale, or approval of the bonds. The bond closing is June 12th. And Chair, members of the board, the resolution is prepared by the bond attorney for the project, which is the Taft Law Firm. That's Mary Ipple, who you had discussed several times the process.
All right, so, with all that said, I will move that we approve the resolution to offer these general obligation certificates of indebtedness on behalf of West Lakeland Township in the amount specified. And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. I take it we need a roll call for this? Before that, any discussion, I should say. Discussion, John? Rachel?
No.
Okay. All right, hearing no discussion, let's go ahead with our roll call vote on this.
Okay, Supervisor Dana?
Aye.
Supervisor Bulow?
Aye.
Chairman Moosberger?
Aye. All right, so we'll execute that resolution. Anything further, George, at this point?
Well, we're halfway through. I'll try to speed it up here, board.
Okay.
Third item is the dissemination agent agreement with Northland Securities. This was an item which you reviewed at March or April. I apologize, I don't have the exact date of that meeting. Additional language was suggested by the town attorney, which was incorporated into this updated agreement. And perhaps Troy, any comments on the agreement itself?
So, Mr. Chair and board, they didn't, we reached a spot where I'm fine with it. Let's just put it that way.
All right.
And Chair and board, for just a little further explanation on what the agreement itself is. You just issued publicly offered debt. When you have publicly offered debt, there needs to be disclosure that you provide on an annual basis. This agreement engages Northland Securities to do that reporting on the township's behalf.
Okay, and I understand, as I understand it then, we don't have to go into the weeds, the details, but there was some kind of a little bit of a tweaking or negotiation of the contract that's taken place, and we're now satisfied with the outcome.
That's correct. It dealt with a limitation of liability.
Okay.
So that's been changed.
All right, great. Okay, so I will move that we approve entering into this agreement with, it's Northland Securities, right?
Yes.
Okay, the agreement with Northland Securities as described, to assist us with, further assist us with the bond process. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Does this involve the expenditure of funds over and above other funds that have previously been approved?
There is. It in the agreement, it details, it's approximately $475 a year
Okay,
for the report.
that being the case, we will need a roll call.
Supervisor Dana?
Aye.
Supervisor Bulow?
Aye.
Chairman Moosberger?
Aye. All right. Anything further, George?
Thank you. 4 of 4 here. So this is post-issuance compliance procedures. Since you have not issued publicly offered debt prior to this bond, you wouldn't have procedures in place. Bond attorneys recommend that if you do have publicly offered debt, that you have procedures in place. At one point, you don't have to do this annually. This would be a one-time event. I'll categorize this, or summarize this into 4 items. One is this procedure talks about 4 main items. One is to ensure the proper use of proceeds. You have to spend the bonds for what they were issued for. For example, you can't issue the $5 million and spend it on, your intent was roads, you couldn't spend it on something other than roads. 2 is you have to ensure that they're not private activity bonds. These are bonds issued for public purpose. 3 is arbitrage rebate. You just issued bonds with an average interest rate of approximately 3.75%. You have a 2-year construction, well, actually, you'll have 100% of your bond proceeds spent within 2 years, so you won't be subject to arbitrage rebate. A large section of this talks about making sure that you're in compliance with that. Chair, you noted earlier the 4M fund, and actually we've already got wiring instructions of where to send the bond proceeds. They're to your account at the 4M fund. If you invest your proceeds with the 4M fund, and this is not a commercial for the 4M fund, they do your arbitrage compliance reporting for you, as well as provide a spend down percentage. So that's important. And fourth, and finally, it highlights record retention. You should maintain bond information throughout the life of this bond plus 3 years. And so we, generally speaking, now have gone from a 3-ring binder with a lot of paper in it to an electronic version. So certainly that will be emailed to Carrie at closing or after closing, and just maintain that, as well as this post-issuance compliance procedural document as well. So that's the summary, Chair.
All right. So, and I should just ask council, have you had a chance to review the post-issuance compliance policies and procedures document? You're comfortable with that?
Mr. Chair and board, yes, I have looked at it. It puts an awful lot of responsibility on the town clerk, just so we're aware of that. And in some cases, I think some of this would come back to the board, frankly, rather than the town clerk doing it on her own. But generally, frankly, this came from the bond council as well. I assume this is a standard thing that
It's very
that they
standard,
do.
and-
And so I don't have any particular concerns.
So, yeah, give me one more time in a nutshell what it requires. Does it require any kind of annual act that be undertaken, or merely?
There is not. That you just approve this once, it goes in your file, and if you ever have another bond that comes up, for example, when we do the bonds, we have to provide what's called a Form 8038G, which is for the IRS. There's a box on there that says, do you have post-issuance compliance procedures in place? We'll check yes then. This is really just over the life of the bonds. If there's ever a question, who's ever sitting in the clerk's chair can certainly get a hold of me. There's also questions for arbitrage rebate. 4M fund can answer those, but there's no annual reporting requirement tied to this. It's really just that you have policies in place.
Adopting the policy and obviously record keeping that we have to maintain. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, I will then move that we adopt the governmental bonds post-issuance compliance policies and procedures as presented. Do I have a second? Seconded. Moved and seconded that we adopt these policies and procedures. Any discussion from the board? I'll just ask this question. The signature line is only the town clerk. Is that standard and okay?
And actually, it should be signed by both the town chair and the clerk. But it's easy enough to add a signature.
I can just pan that in. Okay. All right. Any other discussion before we vote on this? All those in favor of adopting these policies and procedures, please signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed, no. Okay, so we'll adopt those policies and procedures.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Thanks for all your work on this, George. Appreciate it. Okay. Next item is Matit's proposed insurance plan. So Matit has provided us with quite a bit of information over the last year or so, I guess, about their insurance plan that they have. Who is Matit? Matit is the Minnesota Association of Townships Insurance Trust. I understand that a lot of townships in the state of Minnesota use these folks for their insurance to cover their liabilities and so forth. Any idea what the percentage is? Is it 50% or
Oh, Mr. Chair, I think they're pushing 97.
Oh, really?
98, 99, yeah.
All right.
It's, especially now that your current insurer is no longer insuring towns.
Right.
Or will not be moving forward. I think that was the last margin.
Okay. And I believe that the proposal that they have made, it represents a significant savings over, what we've been paying, like maybe, half or something, on the order of half or something like that. I don't know. We already have our work comp coverage through them, as I understand it. And so we would just be adding our other liability coverages and property damage coverages from Matit. There's nobody here from Matit to talk about it, unfortunately. But I think we should go ahead and use them. As I say, most townships use them, and I think it's a substantial savings over anything that's in the voluntary market. It's designed for townships, and so seems like something that we could safely proceed with, and I think you've kind of reviewed it a little bit and concur.
Yeah, and Mr. Chair, just so you know, I have history with this. Back when I was at the Township Association, this was an effort that I spearheaded to create a self-insurance program for towns. At the time, we had self-insurance on the clerk and treasurer's bond. We had self-insured work comp, but then we still had what at the time was called errors and omissions coverage through an outside insurer that was partially self-insured, but and then we also had general liability through the company that you're actually currently insured, or a predecessor of theirs. And so the idea was really townships were the last statewide group to self-insure. Schools had already self-insured, cities and counties had already self-insured. And so this was an effort to bring this together. So just so you understand, this is a little bit different than a traditional commercial insurer, because they're not. This is actually all the townships coming together through a joint powers entity. So you're essentially insuring yourselves just on a statewide basis. So you're actually entering into a joint powers agreement, just like you would if a neighboring township wanted to improve a road or something like that together, or a project with the county. So this is a statewide self-insurance pool that is run through MATIT, which is a group under the Minnesota Association of Townships. It's separate but connected, and so it's basically towns insuring themselves through this statewide organization. So as a result of that, this isn't a profit-driven organization. It's just raising enough money to keep the program going. There have been some changes with coverage limits over the years. And I do think it'd be worthwhile to push on them a little bit on some of the coverage caps that they have, particularly on legal defense costs. So I'm not saying this to say therefore you shouldn't move forward with them. But I do think that it would be worthwhile, if the board consents, for me to communicate with them about, it would be helpful on behalf of this township as well as the other ones I represent, to consider looking at those limits and increasing them. Because towns like yours, you've been involved in litigation related to zoning. Other larger towns are certainly in that position. And while those usually don't result in a great deal of legal defense costs, it's not unusual to think of or envision one that might. And so I would hate to have you top out of that coverage and then have to fall back on your own funds to defend yourself in that. So I think it's worthwhile to send that message back to them, to ask their board to consider reviewing those and increasing those moving forward.
Okay, yeah, and I certainly concur, and I mean, I think we all concur that it would be, good for you to, be authorized to do that. So I think we can agree on that. The immediate issue before us, though, is to approve the resolution that's been supplied to apply for insurance through, or coverage anyway, through the Minnesota Association of Townships Insurance Trust. And so I'm going to make a motion to that effect, that we would execute that resolution and thus apply for coverage through Matit effective June 1, 2025. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded that we're going to pursue the Madet insurance coverage. Any further discussion? Okay. I suppose just to be safe, since this ultimately will involve the expenditure of funds, we should probably do a roll call vote on that.
Supervisor Dana,
Aye.
Supervisor Bulow,
Aye.
Chairman Musburger.
Aye. Right, thank you. Okay. Let's see. Next item, Planning Commission update.
Well, first of all, thanks for running such a timely meeting. You're averaging about 7 minutes per topic. This has got to be world record territory here. So I'm not going to spend any more than 7 minutes with you. So the Planning Commission will be meeting this Thursday, May 15th. We have one topic. We'll be reviewing another proposal of an outbuilding in front of the residents or closer to the front of the lot than the residence is. It's 2148 Olean. It's a nice plan, similar situation we see all the time here. So we'll review that, and then that'll be in front of you at the June meeting. And then also on the agenda, next item you have is the professional services agreement for planning services with WSB. So I think in June, we'll have Kim come to our planning commission meeting just for familiarization and getting started with kind of a routine of how we're going to utilize those services in the planning commission. And that's all I have. Anything else?
Okay, great. No, thanks for all the work you put in, vetting the applicants for that planner position. Sounds like you did a very thorough job on that. So,
Yeah, things are good.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay,
So thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
thanks. All right. So the next item will be approval of a resolution allowing an accessory structure garage closer to the public right away than the home at 1258 Old Ridge Avenue North, Stillwater, Minnesota. We've already had a public hearing on that. I think we have a proposed resolution in our packet. And so I'm going to move that we approve that proposed resolution to allow that accessory structure at 20, where is it? Or 1258 Old Ridge Avenue North, Stillwater. Do I have a second?
Oh.
To approve it. Moved and seconded. Any discussion in council? Do you have something to say about that? No. Okay. You had your finger on the button there. Okay. All right. So, we've already discussed this, and I think we got the resolution ready to approve. So, if there's no further discussion, we can take a vote on that, I guess. All those in favor of approving that resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Okay, so we'll approve that resolution and that garage location or accessory structure location. Next one will be a similar situation with regard to an all-energy solar application for a ground mount solar array, solar energy system at 735 Novak Avenue. We've already had a public hearing on that. My understanding is we do have a resolution in our packet that can allow it. I will say this, there was some yellow highlights on the version that we got in our packet. Maybe you can explain, is that something that we need to address somehow, or?
No, I was waiting for council to approve what I made changes. I made some changes to the resolution, and I asked council to review it,
Okay,
and he did, and you can just remove the highlights.
okay,
So it is as is.
agreed? Yeah,
Agreed, Mr. Chair. That was just highlight for my review. I didn't have all of the detailed information, and so I had some blanks in the resolution I had prepared that Carrie filled in.
all right. So I'll move that we, or maybe I already did move that we approve it. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the conditional use permit for that solar array, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. Okay. All right, so we'll proceed with executing that. Yes, you're welcome. Thanks for coming. Next item would be the approval of the WSB Professional Services Agreement for the planner that we're hiring. Once again, that agreement has been prepared by council and has been approved by WSB yet, or what's the status there?
Mr. Chair, there was a little bit of back and forth when you acted on this last month to move forward with them. I had communicated with Kim asked her to send whatever form they might want to consider as I put that together. And there was apparently the response they got back was, well, we already have an agreement with West Lakeland, but that's for your MS4 review. And I said, nah, I don't like that idea of having that MS4 agreement try to also serve as a basis for this, because it really is different services. And so frankly, what I did is I used the agreement that I put together for Denmark Township and WSB several years ago, and I updated that. I did send that to Kim. It's being reviewed. They pointed out that their name has technically changed since that time, so obviously that has to be updated. But other than that, I haven't received any further comment back. They said they're reviewing it. Hopefully there won't be anything significant, but I would recommend that if you're comfortable moving forward with it, that the motion be to approve the agreement and authorize the chair and clerk to sign it once it's in final form, understanding that not only do I have to make the typo sort of correction to their name, they may have some minor changes. Frankly, if there's anything more than minor, then I would bring it back.
Sure. All right, so that's what I'll do. I'll move that we approve this engagement agreement here, this professional service agreement with WSB for planning services, subject to minor review, and as you say, if any changes are requested that constitute a substantive change in this, we would reevaluate it at that point. So that'll be my motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded that we enter into this agreement with WSB for planning services, subject to minor corrections and alterations. Do I have any discussion?
Are they 1-year contracts, or do they have to be renewed, or they're just contracts until canceled?
It's Mr. Chair and board, it's set up as a yearly contract, but automatic renew. It gives both sides, frankly, a lot of flexibility to get out if you want.
Okay.
All right. Any other discussion? Since this will involve expenditure of funds, let's do a roll call.
Supervisor Miller? Aye. Supervisor Bulow?
Aye.
Chairman Musburger?
Aye. Okay, so we'll do that, and then I guess I don't sign anything until I hear back from you and Carrie.
Correct. And Mr. Chair, if I can just editorialize a little bit, good for you. I think this is an important, good step, big step forward for your town. Because, as we just saw, you had several zoning related matters just come before you. And a planner would have helped facilitate some of that and take some of the burden off the planning commission. So I think this really is a good step for the town.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear you say that, and I have the feeling that we're just kind of joining many other towns and townships that are already doing this. We're sort of almost kind of late to the party in a way with it, but
Better late than never.
better late than never. That's right. Thank you for that. Thank you for your guidance. All right. Next item would be any old or new business to come before the board. Anybody got anything? Yeah.
Talked to Chad a little bit about the WSB inspections. He's going to get some information to me. And there's going to be some repairs needed on things. Then let's see. The other thing I think we should look at sometime, not now, is doing our own septic permits and inspections. To get a permit in Washington County, including the perk, it's almost $2,000. And there are places doing it for as low as about $1,000 total cost. So,
So I mean, if we did the permit issuance, would the standards just be the same? Or-
yes, it's their state standards.
So we'd just be saving like $1,000 per applicant or something and taking on this responsibility.
Well, who's gonna do that?
I'll take care of that. Not, I won't do any of that, but I've talked to Isaac a bit about it. And if we can come up with a good plan that works, then we'll go from there.
I thought the county did all of that. Do other places do it themselves?
Pardon?
Do other cities do it themselves or
Yes.
towns?
Yes. Many.
Like in Washington County, are most of the townships doing this themselves, or is the
I-
county doing it, most of these
I
townships?
couldn't answer that question. I just know working in different areas, probably about a third or a quarter of the cities or townships have their own inspectors.
Okay, well, I guess it's something to think about, and if you know, if you want to work up some kind of a proposal or plan, you know,
Yeah.
we certainly should consider it. You know? All right. Any other new or old business for the board?
Please,
Oh,
Mr.
yes, sure.
Chairman. I just wanted to give you a quick update on the spring recycling events that we had talked about a few months ago, that are about to happen pretty soon. We've got a mailing going out this week that will hit everyone's mailboxes. It's green and it outlines the annual curbside cleanup week, which we had to move from the end of May to the beginning of June with your chairman's permission because of some technical difficulties getting going. And we're just targeting major appliances this year for $25 a piece at the end of your driveway. You just have to contact your hauler and they pick up that particular week, whatever day they choose. And they take scrap metal for free. We're eliminating the furniture items. You certainly can drop off furniture at the end of your driveway, but the hauler gets to decide on the price of those. So the appliance price is special just that week. And then we have the mattresses we removed this year from our flyer or from our curbside event because we're doing the big drop off event with Second Chance Recycling. I had told you about this a couple months ago. We're going to have a big pile of mattresses in the parking lot dropped off on a Saturday in June on the 21st. All residents can drop off for free this year only. Mattresses, box springs, and then Second Chance Recycling comes and takes them away. The township is charged $10 a piece this year, but we can use our grant money this year only to cover that fee because they'd like to see, they just want to get the program started, get people interested, see how it goes. The county I'm speaking of. So that will happen June 21st, all day Saturday. At this point, I probably will staff it. I was going to ask another staff member to help me, but I haven't approached anyone yet. So at this point, I'm planning to just kind of hang out here. Not that I need to do anything, but just in case somebody has questions, maybe I would just be working in the town hall and have the door open if somebody needs assistance or has a question. And then we call Second Chance Recycling. They send a truck and on Monday and away go the mattresses.
Well, that sounds great. And $25 is cheaper for these appliances than what you've had in the past, isn't it? I
A little bit, yeah, I got them to go down a little bit.
Yeah.
And each hauler is a little different, so that gets a little tricky.
But this is uniform. All the haulers are agreeing to $25.
They all agreed to 25, which
Okay.
to me seems like either a $5 to $25 savings, depending on if you have a refrigerator or an air conditioner.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many technicalities, but
Right.
it's not a bad price to get
Yeah,
rid of a freezer, a washer, a dryer, a dishwasher.
Mhm.
Oh,
Okay, and free for dropping off the mattresses. That's a huge improvement over past pricing,
Yes.
right?
Can't
Yeah.
guarantee it every year, but
Right.
This year.
Only this year. This year only.
This year only. Mhm. So tell your friends and neighbors to go buy a new bed and
Okay. Very good. Thank you very much for your hard work on that. Appreciate it. Any other new or old business to come before the board? If not, we got the public comment period here, 3-minute limit. Anybody from the public wants to make a comment, please feel free to do so. Oh, look at this. We got a taker.
Might as well.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
Maybe it's old business, but at the annual meeting, the residents voted in favor of having a recognition event for the volunteers in the township, and I'm thinking maybe we should plan something this summer. What do you think? Maybe we should have a dinner at, maybe like Danny's or something like that, someplace in the township. Maybe get something going this summer.
after township night out, that's just me.
Yeah, maybe you want to do it kind of,
In the fall?
Yeah, in the fall, yeah. People are at their cabins and stuff, or I don't know, doing a lot of things outside. But I mean, in the fall,
Well, I'll put it in front of the planning commission, maybe at our meeting, and maybe
Yeah.
propose some date.
I think it's a great
Labor
idea.
Day or something like that, but
I
let's
think it's a
not
good idea.
forget that. I just.
Yeah.
There's a budget earmarked for that, so let's
Oh, yeah,
get together,
great
You're
idea.
That's all I
becoming quite the party planner, Mark.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Um,
We appreciate
Yeah,
it.
and the party plan's coming along too.
Yeah.
Now the music is secured and the food is secured.
Mm-hmm.
and Donations are coming in
Mark, it might be in every other year.
every year. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm.
We'll have to double check and we budgeted every year for it.
We budgeted $1,000. I
Okay.
remember.
All right, well, great. Well, yes, thanks, Mark, for those thoughts, those suggestions. Appreciate it. Anybody else? Got any comment? If not, we could entertain a motion to adjourn, if anyone were so inclined.
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second
Yep, okay, moved and second that we adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, no. Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you all very much.
That's a
Appreciate it.
record, Phil.
Huh?
That's a record. Good
It is a
job.
record,
I
I
know.
know.